I was right to be upset. I was right to be angry. The problem was it didn't help me. If you want to move forward in business, you can't keep looking behind you. Hey folks, Randy here with Dolan Cut and Trim. When I first started my business, I did not handle payments the way I do now. Now I require all my customers to keep a credit card on file, and we charge it after every single service. But when I first started my business, I did what essentially is the standard thing, is I sent out an invoice at the end of each month, and pray to God they paid it. I had to stop doing that, partially because I, at the beginning, was not very good at managing cash flow. Also, well, no, that's the reason. At the beginning of my business, I was terrible at managing cash flow, and so I needed the cash to keep flowing if the business was going to stay open. And in the beginning, I also wasn't using contracts. And you know, the thing is, there's a lot of people out there that, for whatever reason, they feel like they can get over on others, and I don't know what the mentality is, because in my mind it's theft, but they feel like they can sign up a company to provide a service, and then they're just not going to pay. And their thought, I'm assuming their thought is that the company's not going to take on legal action to get their money because, you know, $150, it's not worth going to a lawyer to get $150 out of someone for a month's worth of cuts. So I'm assuming that's the thought process. But when you first start your lawn business and you don't have a lot of money, no, that money, you need that money. So you're motivated to get it. And so in that first couple of months, I had a couple of customers that just decided not to pay. And it bothered me a lot. There was one guy in particular, he was a business owner. And he paid me to shape up some bushes in his front yard and to mow his lawn every week. And I did it. And he ran up a bill of around $250, and then just refused to pay it. Told me a bunch of lies. First was saying that he never asked me to cut his grass, but he had actually via email, and then said that he had lost my emails, but I had evidence that he was opening the I had read receipts for the emails that I'd sent him, so I knew he was getting them. And then he would say he would pay, and then he said he wouldn't, and then he said he would, and he kept going back and forth. This went on for 3 or 4 months. And, the thing is, that was a major drain on my energy, because I thought about it all the time. I was constantly thinking about the fact that this guy owed me money. And there was another customer in particular, too. She owed me $105. And she was refusing to pay because she said I had damaged her property. I hadn't. And that was a frustrating situation, because even though I hadn't damaged it, I wanted to keep her lawn. And it was a matter of screwing in a couple fence slats. And so I said, I told her, I didn't damage it, but I'll fix it for free. It's not a big deal, But because I wouldn't admit to damaging it, she refused to pay. And so these two situations, who combined for, $350, they weighed on me all the time. I thought about them all the time. It made me angry. It made me frustrated. I couldn't believe you would, stiff someone like that, and especially in the beginning where every dollar counts, man. Whew. And so it would drive me nuts. It would eat at me, and it would bother me, and I would contact these people and they wouldn't pay, and, I would get into arguments with them via email, and it was maddening. And eventually the woman that owed me $100. I eventually was able to get her to pay 80. I offered her a little bit of a discount because I said, I'm going to send your stuff to collections, and it's going to go on your credit report, or I'll just deduct what I would spend on that, and pay me the difference. So I ended up getting 80 out of her, and but the other guy, he never paid, and it literally bothered me, and I thought about it for a year, and it drove me nuts. And every time I would drive by that area, I would think about the fact this guy, stiffed me for this money. And you know what? I was right to be upset. I was right to be angry. The problem was it didn't help me. It didn't accomplish anything. If you want to move forward in business, you can't keep looking behind you. You've got to look forward. And so while this guy owed me all this money, spending time and energy thinking about the fact that he didn't pay and how could a fellow businessman do this to me, that was time and energy that was not well spent. That was time and energy that could have been applied to growing my business. And so I had to make the decision to stop focusing on the negative and start focusing on the positive. But the thing I did, and this is just something I had to do for myself, was I had to email that customer and let him know that I was forgiving the debt. Now, this is not something I'm saying you need to do. This is just something I felt like I needed to do in order to move past it. I emailed him and let him know that I was disappointed that he hadn't paid, and I was upset that a business owner would do this to another business owner, but that I couldn't continue to carry on that negativity, and so I was forgiving the debt. If he wanted to pay at some point, that'd be great, but I wasn't looking for it anymore. I'd forgiven the debt. Let's not speak again. And I did that with every one of the customers that owed me money. There was a couple other folks that owed me lesser amounts. I think all told it was probably about $600 worth of invoices that weren't paid. So we're not talking about a lot of money. And I did that with each one of those customers. I emailed them and let them know I was forgiving the debt, and I was moving on. And actually one of them did end up paying me what she owed, and she apologized. But that was something I had to do so that I could move past my anger and the negative energy that was pulling my business down, because you need to be positive and you need to be focused on moving forward. If you focus your time and energy on what people are doing wrong, it's going to make it really hard for you to focus on doing what's right. And so in business, you have to get used to the fact that people are going to screw you over. It's just a matter, it just is. It's just what it is. And so you got to do what you have to do to minimize their ability to do that. But when they figure out how to do it anyway, take a moment, be unhappy about it, and then move on. Because you're here to make money. You're not here to solve injustices. You're not here to make sure things are equitable in the world, because they're not gonna be. You're here to make money to support your family. So focus on doing that. If I have a customer now, because I keep credit cards on file, the most you're going to screw me over for is one cut. And most of my customers are $35 per cut. So if you decide that you're going to screw me over, you're only screwing me over for $35. And I refuse to let $35 ruin my day. At one point it would. Now it's $35. That's not hardly anything in the grand scheme of things, and I'm not gonna let $35 run me down. If you're in a situation where you feel the need to steal $35 from me, which is what I consider that. I consider it theft. If you're in that situation, that says more about you than it does about me. And it says that there's an issue deeper there. And if you're that kind of person, honestly, I don't want you as a customer anyway. So it's a $35 lesson I'm glad to have learned, you know. But you really, I guess my point in all this is to say, focus on the positives. You know, don't think about the person that stood you up. Think about the majority that pay. You know, that's really the best thing you can do in your business, because, you know, the people that screw you over, they're always going to be here. They're always going to go around. Yeah, but there's no point in focusing on them. Focus on the positive, focus on what's good, and your business will do better. When I stopped thinking about how people had done me wrong and started focusing on the good things, it made my business better. It made me more profitable, because people feed off that energy. People can tell when you're a positive person or when you're negative, and they feed off of it. And if you're emanating negativity, they're going to pick up on that. But if you're emanating positivity, they're going to pick up on that too. And that's a much better thing to give off. So this is Randy with Doolin Cut and Trim. I hope this was helpful to you. I will talk to you again soon.